So usually you get locked in your room. It was so bad this kid actually got locked out of his room. So let me explain. So 2019, I unfortunately was in Philadelphia Friends Hospital in the psychiatric unit, um, in a low tier unit. So basically, the hallways in there, they're basically wings. So we had a more like an S shaped wing. We had one long hallway, and then it went into this like group room, followed by another hallway adjacent to the other one. So basically, we have groups and whatever. If you've never been in a psych ward, which I imagine hopefully most of you haven't, but if you have, you understand. Either way, throughout the day, somewhere around 10, 12, you usually have a group session, and then you eat lunch. You later on in the afternoon, you might have another session of therapy. You get a little recess in some cases where you get to go outside, and then visitation and whatnot. But either way, there's this kid, right? And he was not really participating in any of the activities. He wasn't going to group. If he would go to group, he usually got mad and would like storm out. And I can't remember exactly what he was doing, but he was acting out. And I was hanging out with. I try to stay neutral in all of these places. Anytime I do, unfortunately, go to one of these places, I stay as neutral as possible. I don't necessarily befriend anyone. But I also don't treat them like crap just because you don't know who's in. You just don't treat. It's just the right thing to do. But yeah, so I'm sitting there hanging out with, this kid who just got out of jail for robbery, who then got sent to the psych ward, and then another guy, he was like a blood, and I'm not exactly sure why I'm sitting next to these kids, but I'm talking to them. And this kid comes over, the one that acts out, and he's like, "Hey man, I'm gonna get us out of here. Like, I'm gonna get us all out of here." And we're like looking at him like, "Dude, what are you talking?" Like, we weren't even. Yeah, no one wants to be in there, and them two guys wanted to be out, and so does everyone else. But it ain't like we're trying to figure out how we're gonna get our way out of here, short of convincing the doctor it's time for discharge. He's like, "Dude, we're gonna get out." So he's acting out. And for whatever reason, the staff decides to lock him in his room. And lo and behold, like an hour and a half goes by, and there's a big loud bang where he starts beating on the bed frame, and the staff comes running over, and he's got the whole entire radiator like out, ripped off the wall, laying on his bed. And it was like, holy crap. This guy was seriously convinced that we could get out. He came over and he was like, "Dude, like, all I gotta do is take this heater off the wall." And he thought that when he ripped that radiator off the wall, there wasn't gonna be any bricks or anything. It was just gonna be exposed to the outdoors. And we were all gonna go crawling out of this hole and run to I don't know where. So it was it was just crazy. And then after all that, the staff members were like, "Look, dude, we don't know what to do with you. You're not even allowed in your room." So literally that night, they locked his room and they made him sleep in the hallway. So we had like our hallway there, and then the doors weren't flush with the hallway. There was a little bit of inset. There's about a 4-foot inset where you would walk into that, and then the door would open all the way into that inset. So with them being hospital doors, they're about 4 feet wide, so the patient beds can fit in and out of the rooms. But he had to actually sleep or sit in that little stoop, gullet, whatever you want to call it, all night long, because they couldn't even trust the kid in his room, because he was destroying the room. So that's just one of the experiences and stories I have from being in the psych ward. They're not all necessarily bad, but there definitely are some really unique ones that I personally don't think I would have ever experienced unless I was there. So, take the good with the bad, and it's one of them stories that, yeah, one of them you just have to dodge. You really got to pay attention to the people around you and kind of always watch your back in there, because yeah, you're dealing with people that are sometimes unstable. Fortunately, I'm one of the more stable. I'm a high functioning, mentally ill-ish person. Well, whatever. It is what it is. If you like the video, like, share, subscribe. If you guys are struggling or have any cool, interesting stories yourself, I'd love to hear them in the comments below. Check out over here. We're going to have our Mental Health Monday series playing over here. Basically some ideas and tips of things that help keep me out of the psych ward. So that's, pretty much a life goal of mine is to stay healthy, mentally stable, and able to continue to stay free and live this world and live out my life in freedom. It's a big part of this whole journey for me is freedom and true freedom. So like, share, subscribe. We'll see you in the next one and over there. Peace.